I never thought I would be the man writing one of these posts. I used to read them late at night, lying beside my wife while she slept, her back warm against my arm, her breathing slow and even. Stories about betrayal, about secret lives, about people who thought they knew the person next to them, until a single detail cracked the illusion. I used to think most of them were exaggerated. I used to think, not her, not us. My wife's name was Mara, and for 9 years, she was the safest place in my world. We met in graduate school. She sat 2 rows in front of me, always wearing oversized sweaters, always taking handwritten notes, even when everyone else typed. One day, she dropped her notebook, and pages spilled everywhere. I helped her gather them. She laughed and said, "I'm a mess." I told her she was organized chaos. She remembered that phrase. She wrote on the inside of my first birthday card, "To my organized chaos." From the beginning, she felt intentional, warm, thoughtful, the kind of woman who brought soup when you were sick and remembered the names of your childhood pets. She met my mother before we were even official. She cried when my father died. She held my face in both hands when she said she loved me the first time, as if the words were fragile. We dated 4 years, married 5. Our wedding was small, emotional, candlelit. She walked down the aisle shaking, crying before she even reached me. She whispered, "I'm safe now," when I lifted her veil. Those words used to live in my chest. For most of our marriage, life was beautifully boring. Sunday grocery trips, Wednesday takeout, Friday movies. She liked to fall asleep halfway through and insist she'd just rest her eyes. I liked to watch her breathe and feel lucky. We talked about kids. "Not yet," she'd say, "but soon." She worked in marketing. I worked in IT. We weren't rich, but we were stable. We hosted game nights. We visited family. We planned trips we sometimes couldn't afford and took them anyway. If someone had asked me, "Do you trust your wife?" I wouldn't have answered. I would have looked at them strangely. The name, Evan, entered our home quietly. "He transferred from another branch," she said one evening, hanging her coat. "He's funny, kind of broken. You'd like him." I smiled. "Broken how?" "Divorce. His wife left him last year." I said, "That's rough." She nodded. "He doesn't talk about it much." For weeks, he was just a background character, a co-worker, a joke source, a lunch companion. Then the name became frequent, then constant, then familiar. Evan said, "Evan thinks. Evan's having a hard time." She started checking her phone more. She started tilting the screen away. Not hiding, not panicking, just adjusting. When I asked, she smiled. "Work stuff." I believed her. Because trust, when it's real, doesn't feel like a decision. It feels like gravity. The first moment I remember clearly was Leo's birthday party. Mara was distracted all night. She laughed late, checked her phone early. At one point, she disappeared outside. I followed. She was leaning against a brick wall, phone to her ear, voice soft. "I know," she said. "I miss you too." She saw me. Her face flickered. She hung up quickly. "It's Evan. He's not okay tonight." Something moved in my stomach. "Just Evan," she added quickly. "Just a friend." I nodded. I didn't argue, but the words didn't sit right. After that, she began to pull away in subtle ways. She dressed nicer, wore perfume to work, showered immediately when she came home, started saying she was tired more often, emotionally unavailable in small, untraceable ways. She still kissed me, still said, "I love you," but it felt rehearsed, as if something else had started taking her energy before it ever reached me. Then my mother got sick. Hospital visits replaced date nights. Sleep became fragmented. Fear lived in my chest. Mara came sometimes. Other times she said, "I don't want to crowd you." I thought she was giving me space. Now I know she was making room. One night, I came home early. The house was dark. Her laptop was open. I was closing it when a message popped up. From Evan. "I keep thinking about the wedding photos. About how you looked. About how it should have been." I stared at the words until they blurred. When she came home, I was sitting in the dark. "What wedding photos?" I asked. She froze, then said it. "He's just a friend." I asked her to leave. She stayed with a coworker. Texted constantly. Called. Wrote paragraphs about boundaries, confusion, emotional support. On the 4th day, I followed her. She didn't go to work. She drove across town, into an apartment complex. I parked, watched. 10 minutes later, a man opened the door. She walked in without hesitation. I don't remember deciding to confront him. I only remember standing in front of his door. He opened it. "You're Mara's husband," he said. I walked past him and saw the walls. Wedding photos. Our wedding photos. Framed. Dozens. Some original. Some edited. Somewhere I was erased. Somewhere he stood beside her. Somewhere he replaced me. The world tilted. "She brought them," he said quietly. "She said she couldn't keep them at home." He told me everything. They'd dated years before me. She broke it off suddenly. Met me 6 months later. He never moved on. When he transferred to her company, he believed fate had corrected itself. They started with lunches, then long talks, then regrets, then emotional dependency. "She said she loved you," he told me, "but she was in love with who she could have been with me." I left. She didn't deny it. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she said. I asked if she loved him. She hesitated. That ended my marriage. We separated. I moved out. My mother died. Mara didn't attend the funeral. "I didn't think you'd want me there." She was right. 2 months later, divorce papers. We met at a cafe. She looked thinner, wore red lipstick. "I moved in with Evan," she said. I signed. 3 weeks later, Evan called. "She left," he said. She said it wasn't what she imagined, that she destroyed everything for a fantasy. I told him never to call again. That should have been the end. It wasn't. 2 months later, I received an envelope. No return address. Inside was a single ultrasound image and a note in Mara's handwriting. "I didn't tell you because I didn't know whose it was." I stared at that image for a long time. It didn't feel real. I called her. She didn't answer. I emailed. No response. I went to her old apartment. Empty. I went to Evan's. A stranger answered. "They moved out weeks ago." No forwarding address. No explanation. Nothing. Mara vanished. I hired a private investigator. What he found chilled me. Mara had quit her job without notice, closed her bank account, sold her car, applied for new documents. There was no medical record of the pregnancy, no birth certificate, no hospital visits. It was as if she had erased herself. 3 months passed, then 6, then 9. I assumed the worst. A miscarriage, a breakdown, a life somewhere else. Then, one night, my phone rang from a blocked number. I answered. Her voice whispered, "He's not who I thought he was." We met in a parking lot outside a closed grocery store. She looked hollow, older. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "I'm pregnant," she said. My heart dropped. "Are you sure?" "Yes." "Is it mine?" "I don't know." She told me everything. Evan hadn't been divorced. He'd been abandoned after restraining orders, after stalking, after threats. She hadn't known. Not at first. By the time she found out, she was emotionally dependent. He isolated her, controlled her, encouraged her to disappear, said they needed to start over. She moved with him. He took her phone, her money, her autonomy. When she tried to leave, he told her something that made her blood run cold. "You already erased him," he said. "Now you just have to erase yourself." She escaped while he was at work, left everything, even her name. She was living under a temporary identity, afraid, hiding. "I don't want him to find the baby," she said. I felt like I was listening to a stranger tell me my wife's story. 2 weeks later, Evan was reported dead. A car fire, burned beyond recognition. Dental match, closed case, accidental. Mara cried in my arms. For the first time in over a year, she slept. The baby was born 3 months later. A girl, dark hair, my eyes. The test confirmed it. She was mine. Mara wanted to come home, to rebuild, to fix. I tried. I really did. But love is not a switch. Trust does not resurrect. Every time she touched me, I saw the walls. Every time she smiled, I heard just a friend. Every time the baby cried, I wondered who else might have held her mother. 6 months later, I found something in her bag. A new phone. A hidden one. When I turned it on, there was one unsent message. Drafted. Saved. Not delivered. I had the baby. She's beautiful. He thinks you're dead. My hands went numb. When I confronted her, she collapsed. Evan wasn't dead. The body wasn't his. He had planned the fire, the identity, the disappearance. He was alive, watching, waiting. She had never stopped talking to him. I left that night, filed for full custody, reported everything. The police reopened the case. Evan was arrested 2 months later, trying to cross a border with forged documents. Mara was charged as an accomplice, not for loving him, for protecting him. I now raise my daughter alone. She has Mara's smile, my mother's eyes. Sometimes she laughs, and I feel something heal. Sometimes she cries, and I feel everything reopen. I no longer believe betrayal happens suddenly. It happens slowly, quietly, in jokes, in glances, in names that repeat, until one day you realize someone else has been standing in your place for a very long time. If you are reading this, and a name has started to live in your house that doesn't belong to your family, don't ignore it, because sometimes just a friend isn't a reassurance. It's a warning, and sometimes by the time you understand it, your life is already hanging on someone else's wall.